Okay, it's the same day as the last video on the wagon. I posted probably a couple of days ago, and we got some work done on that, but we pushed it off to the side because it's time to get some more progress done on this car, which is now out in center stage. What I'm going to mess with today, hopefully, I already started messing with it a little bit, and well, it's slithering downhill at the moment, but the plan is to try and see how the new steering column, I got a new steering column for it, and we'll see how that fits in there. It's a little different than what I did on that car, so I'm not too sure. There's going to be a little bit more work involved, but it's more appropriate for this car. And then if we can get the steering column at least in the right place, we can start looking at the intermediate shaft down to the steering gearbox. So to do that, first thing we got to do is get the man, this is kind of a weird spot to sit in. All right, this bar, because race car, is also really inconvenient to work around, but we got to get the factory column out, and I've already disconnected it mechanically, the bolts under the dash that support the bracket for the column and at the firewall. But it looks like some of the wiring is run in a way that it's kind of inconvenient. So I'm started looking for ends of that wiring, but it looks like I'm gonna have to cut it to get it out. But yeah, anyway. And it's really dirty in here, so we're probably going to do some cleanup, try and get a little bit cleaner work environment going. Yeah, let me flip this thing around and I'll show you. So this is the first time I've really given much of a inside look at this car, and like I said, the steering column is already down. It's just held in with 2 bolts right here at this bracket with a U-shaped bracket, and then 4 small bolts on this plate that mounts to the firewall. But this is the wire I was talking about that's it's kind of inconveniently ran, and I'm not seeing an easy way at either end of this wire. It splits into a couple of different wires up here. I think it's a 12-volt feed. And on the other side of the wiring harness where it comes out, it's this guy right here, which goes around to a plug right here, which spurs off to the other. Oh, it's headlights. That wire goes to the headlights. But those plugs are definitely not going to fit through the little hole that the wires run through down on that plate. And those pins do not come out easy. And I could try and get to the back of the switch and disconnect it there. I wonder how hard it would be to get the switch actually out. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll try and actually take the switch out. Maybe. I might fiddle with that. But like I said, there's definitely some cleanup that needs to be done, and there's a lot of dirt and debris. And I've been stashing parts in here. As you can see, I've got the fender well headers are in here. There's a set of heads over there. And back here in the back, there's a bunch of junk in here. That's what it's coming down to. So maybe I will do some cleanup, get the shop vac out, clean this up a little bit, and try and give myself a little bit cleaner work environment before we get going. Something else that I'll be doing is I probably will pull all the carpet out. Probably not today, but all the carpet's probably going to come out, and this insulation barrier that's in here, we'll replace that with a little bit more modern stuff and freshen it up, because it's a little rough in a few spots where it's been beat up over the years of use. And it's everywhere, so we'll have to do something, but we'll freshen that up. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm gonna spend a few minutes. I'm gonna clean this up real quick, and then we'll get back on playing with the steering column stuff. So yeah, so I've been at this for about an hour now, and well, Well, you can't see it. The camera's at a terrible angle. I got the seat out. That was interesting. Had to cut a couple of bolts to make that happen. I mean, it wasn't going to come out, but it wasn't really put in a way that made it easy to remove. Anyway, I gotta show you. After getting the seat out, I went to the shop vac to start cleaning, and well, the plan for today might be shifting a little bit. So, I'm just adjusting the camera here, diving you in here, and see, I mean, this is better than it was. Not great, but better than it was. But back here's a little better than it was, but not great. But then you start, you know, looking under here, and I don't know how much of that you can see, but what is? I don't. That's something. Piece of an old racing belt. Garbage, zip ties, screws, connectors, more trash. Yeah, it's a mess, and this is just that one area where I can see, and I know that it's, you start pulling it back up here and finding, oh, there's a rock. There's 1/100 of a second faster. Yeah, so it's a mess. Car's really dirty. The interior's, it needs to be cleaned bad. And I hate to start working on something and putting new parts in here, or working up under the dash trying to do things the way I want them. I won't say right or wrong, because there's a whole lot of ways to do something right when it comes to how you build cars. But you don't want to do it when it's filthy. You want to clean it out and start fresh. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend some time getting it cleaned out. I'm probably going to see about getting the carpet out altogether. It looks like it's vacuuming fairly decent, but when you touch it, it just feels oily and grimy, which that happens in race cars. I mean, if you're at the racetrack and there's, you know, between the prep on the track and what gets on the asphalt and the pits and whatnot, the carpet, if you got carpet in your race car, it's gonna get yucky. This carpet, it feels kind of yucky, so we're probably gonna eject it and see about getting a new carpet kit for this, or a new solution anyways. I know it's got to come out to do the insulation I want to run. I may do carpet squares just in the footwell areas. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen there, but what I do know needs to happen is I got to get this thing cleaned out. So I'm going to get to work and get this gutted. I think the wife might be coming out here in a little bit, because the afternoon heat has broke a little bit and it's starting to cool off a pinch. So she might come out, and she enjoys this kind of clean out stuff. So yeah, we'll see where we end up. I don't know if we'll get to be putting steering components in today, but we're gonna work that direction, and well, we'll see where we end up. So this has gotten a little out of hand. This car is disgusting. The more I peel back the layers, the more disgusting. Oh, moving the whole car because it's still on rollers. All right, so it's kind of, this insulation is taped and glued and not wanting to give up, but yeah, this all needed to come out regardless, because this all needs to be cleaned and taken care of. And this up here, this is an oversight when I bought the car, didn't notice, but this floor pan has been patched. It's not an actual toe board replacement. It's a home job patch. I mean, it feels pretty solid, but you can see all the rust buildup that's already on top of that, and whatever the hell, that looks like oil almost. I don't know what that is. It's nasty is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna finish getting this all ripped out of here. Some cleanup, make sure that we don't have any actual rot stuff that needs to be addressed right now. Maybe come next winter we'll see about doing a tow board in this car, or a passenger floor pan. Don't know what's under the driver's side yet, so we might end up having to do something there. And then the tunnel has had some patchwork done on it. It's siliconed and sheet metal screwed, so that's probably okay for now. But we might do something about improving that. I know that that's got holes that look like they were intentionally cut, and that's probably to access bell housing bolts. So I might do something about turning that into access panels to get to the bell housing bolts that are a little bit more usable than tech screws that are in a siliconed panel. Make it something that's actually removable right there. But yeah, and then sticking to my shoe. But all this garbage over here, this is all stuff that's either been under the carpet or was actually under the insulation layer even. So lots of nastiness there. And there's the disgusting carpet over there. It's trash. It's not worth even trying to clean. And this is the junk that I pulled out of the car. With it sitting out here on the ground, it actually doesn't look like nearly as much as what was there. But you know, as I noted, you know, we got the fender well headers. I got a set of aluminum heads there. Don't worry about what those are for. That's probably next winter type project. And then a couple of boxes that came with the car, some stuff. The steering wheel we took off. That right there is an engine diaper. It looks a little rough, but we'll look at that in the future and see if that one's worth using or if we're going to get a new one. We got the factory glass for right here for the doors and for the rear windows on the rear quarter window, because those are both Lexane. This is also Lexane, but we don't have factory glass for that. I know it's repopped though, so we can, when the time comes, we will be able to get the glass and put glass back in this if we so choose, or maybe it'll stay Lexane. It does have a glass windshield, an original windshield, so that will stay regardless if we keep the Lexane on the other windows or not. So yeah, the I can't even say it. The archaeological dig inside the car is well underway. This wasn't exactly what I had planned for the day, but it needed to happen, as you can tell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna keep ripping stuff out, see if I can't get the bulk of this insulation out off the floor. Not gonna worry about the doors for now. That's a problem for another day. And yeah, been some interesting stuff. You know, you never know what you're gonna find in some of this stuff. And well, I mean, not gonna be a bad car when it's done, but it is what it is. So like I said, I'm gonna keep going. I'll let you know where we end up, or catch up with you a little bit, and yeah, that's that. This thing is a disgusting mess. Yeah, we're not gonna get to the steering components today because there's too much nastiness that's got to be addressed before we start putting any new stuff in.
All this mess over here that came out of it.
Floorboard, the yuck that I showed you, I don't know what the hell that was. I went after it with brake clean and scrubbing it and wire brushes, and some of it still hasn't come off. What's on there right now is engine degreaser, which I'll probably hit it with that again, wipe it up. But it is nasty, nasty, nasty. So there's a lot of cleanup in here that needs to be done. And pulling out the carpet and that insulation layer on the bottom has revealed a couple other issues that need to be addressed. Particularly some of the welding work for the roll bar. Someone probably shouldn't have been doing the welding work that was done. It could definitely be better. And so we're going to address that and fix some of that stuff. It's probably, for the speeds that this car is going to run, these plates are bolted, so that's probably meets the safety requirement, these plates being bolted in. But I'm not happy with that, so we're gonna clean that up. And the main hoop, the welds on the main hoop actually look pretty good. That weld, other than being a little bit oversized, it could use some cleanup on it, but it's looks like a decent weld. The welds for the down bars on the main hoop to the plates look pretty good, so that I'm not too concerned with. But this door bar, on the other hand, the welds up here of the door bar to the hoop, that weld is just atrocious. And the weld for the door bar down here at the plate it's not that great either. So we'll probably grind some of that out and re-weld that a little. We'll see where that goes. It needs to be better, is what I'm getting at. And then the floor pan patch that's over there, it's sufficient. It does what it's supposed to. It covers the floor. There's no holes, but it really does need a new floorboard over on that side. So that'll probably be a next winter project, not a right now project, because what's there gets the job done. When we blow the car back down to do some other stuff, we'll end up taking care of that. What else? Oh, switch. Come around on this side. Come around on this side. I'll go on that side. There's another interesting WowE discovery that was made. The side of the tunnel here is. Can I get this out? Maybe. Okay, well, that doesn't give me much more space, but yeah, it's got this crappy patch on the side of the tunnel, real flimsy sheet metal that has a big old section of it not even patched at all. It was just covered with duct tape. Not okay. I'm not good with that. I'm gonna have to do some other patch there to fix that and make sure that the shift cable has a good clean path that's appropriate without gouge edges that have the potential to cause problems. Yeah, basically ripping into the interior. I'm glad we didn't wait to the end of all the work we were doing on the front end to actually look at what was going on in this interior, because there is a lot of work here that needs to happen before we attempt to go to Sykeston with this to do any racing, because we got to make sure that it's at least safe. I mean, I don't expect to go super fast with this car, not with the motor that we've got, especially being that I haven't drag raced in a very long time and just going to be getting into the hobby. It'll be the first time ever drag racing with a gasser, so it's not like I'm throwing 600 horsepower in this car on turbos or nitrous or whatever. We're probably working with like 400 horse. So, I mean, if it runs 12s in the quarter mile, that's a win with the combination that we have, which that's not super fast. That's actually fairly slow. So it's just a matter of making sure it's safe for what we're doing and we don't have problems that we need to address now. But because of the yuck that's on the floors, I'm probably going to end up wiping this up one more time and then doing some more of that where all the yuck at, to try and get the yuck out of here. This is probably about where we're going to leave it. In the next video, now that I know what I'm working with in here, we're probably going to tackle this floor and see if we can't get some of this stuff fixed up so that we can get back on track with putting the car together. We need to order seats too. You know that?
Yeah.
We should probably do that.
Yeah.
Because this would be a good time to do the seats and get the brackets and everything sorted out, since we're going to be doing the work in here.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
Yay, get a seat.
Yeah, I'm planning to go with Pro Car seats, low back buckets, but I will need to look into the safety requirements for, I don't know at what speed or when the requirement comes in that you have to have basically a headrest for your helmet to go back against. I got to research that a little bit. So that might be something we have to add into the roll bar to get that sorted out so that we meet safety requirements there, since I'm going to run a low back seat and not a high back. But yeah, and oh goodness, the racing harness that was in here, which is a great harness, and I'm going to end up reusing this harness that was on this seat. But the bracket, this had a bracket right here that was attached to the harness bar or the crossbar in there, and the way it was attached was with exhaust clamps. This had exhaust clamps on there like this, clamping the headrest support. Not ideal. I mean, it worked, and the guy who had the car raced it for a long time, so apparently it met the requirement for safety. But we're gonna try and do something a little bit better than that, a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, and hopefully a good bit safer, so that if something were to happen, we'll be not having to worry about safety being the issue that causes a problem. Anyway, eventually we'll get to that steering stuff. Well, you know, I'll show you the column I'm going to use just because I want to get it out and look at it anyways. I haven't taken it out of the box yet because I thought I was going to be putting it in today. But this is from Speedway. This is probably the cheapest steering column you can get. Really, I think it is. Probably the cheapest steering column you can get. A little hardware baggie. But this column, and the reason I went this way with this car was the wiring was already set up in this car like a race car, and doesn't have any of the wiring that runs through the column for blinkers or any of that sort of stuff. All that has been removed. I mean, to go back to being street legal, we will have to have blinkers and a horn, but they don't necessarily have to be run internal to the column. So I went with this is a 32-inch, 1 3/4 OD column that'll just clamp in. Steering wheel here, a 3/4 double D shaft right there, which will poke out through the firewall. I've got a couple of support brackets I'm going to try and use, figure out how I can attach them one up under the dash, one at the firewall. We'll have to do a little bit of finicky work with that. And then the other part that is kind of neat with this column is this is a steering wheel release column, which the pin was put in weird and can't get a hold of it. So that bolts to your steering wheel. That'll allow us to, one, remove the steering wheel, making it easier to get in and out with having the door bar, and it'll you can get different collars or run spacers to get the steering wheel positioned differently so that it's in a good, comfortable driving position when you're all strapped in with the 5-point harness. So that's why I went with this column over something like what I put in the wagon, because, well, race car. Eventually we'll get this installed, but like I said, that's not going to happen today. It won't happen in the next video. Maybe 2 or 3 videos down the road we'll be able to start making forward progress with this once we take care of some of this other interior problematic stuff. So that's probably going to do it. Hey, how many days do we got until No Name Nationals? Do you know?
I gotta look at your phone.
All right, hold on. I did a thing
You did a thing, huh?
I did a thing, yeah, to make this easier for you. Whoa, okay. I got an app.
Oh, whatever.
I got an app. No Name Nationals. We have 96 days. 96 days until No Name Nationals. So we're just under 100 days to get this car together so we can go race and play in Sikeston, Missouri, and have fun with a bunch of other wackos that build cars on YouTube and do crazy stuff. And yeah, so that's that. What do you need?
What do you mean, me?
What do you need?
What do you mean?
Isn't there something you want?
Yeah. For you to find me a car.
Well, we've been working on that, but that's not what I'm talking about. That would be pretty cool though if we managed to find.
If you guys like what you guys are seeing, please push the like button and subscribe to our channel. Trying to get AC in the shop. You know, I know you guys like seeing me out here. He likes me being out here helping him, even though I'm mainly the camera person most of the time. But like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.